Hey there, welcome to the Caregiver Survival Guide. A few tips and tricks to make the life of being a caretaker a little easier. My name is Jezer, and I've been a caregiver slash provider for about almost 2 years now, so needless to say, I've learned a thing or two. Now, it's time for our tips. Today's situation is a heavy one. We'll be learning ways to handle patient death. One of the things you come across, unfortunately, quite often is the death of a resident. Now, death is always a hard pill to swallow, but that pill becomes even more difficult when it's the death of someone you've been caring for months. But before we get how to handle the situation, if death is something you can't handle, I highly suggest finding a way to avoid confronting it. Remember, the best course of action is prevention. Either someone else take the call light or do another task. Your own limits are what should be a priority. However, if you are comfortable enough with death, but still aren't sure to handle it, then keep on listening. The very first thing to think about is that the patient's death is at all times never your fault. You did what you could do, and you gave it your all. The next thing to think about is how the family is feeling right now. Comfort them. Inform them that just anything in your power that you can do for them, you'll do it. Then, of course, do it. However, only within your capabilities. You're not a miracle worker, you're minimum wage. Do what you can, but don't overpush it. The third and final tip on how to deal with a patient death is to detach and move on. Now, I know empathy is an incredibly important skill to have, but if you, as a caregiver slash provider, focus so much on one death for far too long, it'll eat away at your psyche and derail your mental health. Me personally, when one of my favorite residents had passed away, it killed me to not be able to work with him anymore. But in order to preserve my own mental health, I sat myself down, thought about it, and moved on. I detached from him. Now, I said it before, and I'll say it again. You are a priority. If you end up getting mentally drained and exhausted, the rest of the work gets harder. Know yourself and know your limits. And don't forget, you're not the only cog in the works here. If your work gets harder, everyone's work gets harder. Well, all, that's it for today's survival guide. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, don't forget, you've been doing good work and keep it up. Goodbye.